Hello, hello. This is JT. I want to ask a question. Was man born knowing the cosmic laws of the universe? Like you got scientific laws, like the law of energy conservation, the law of entropy, the law of polarity. Now, it took men thousands of years after constant observation and seeing that these principles work every time in order to come up with a practice and theory that these are cosmic laws. And, it stands in place only until it's proven false. And it has not been proven false in over 1,000 years. So this is how man understands these principles. But see, God set it up from the beginning. He knew these principles from the very beginning. Just like it says in the Bible that a male child, is to be circumcised on the eighth day. And it took medical and modern science thousands of years to find out physically why the male child is circumcised on the eighth day. Because, let me see, there is a certain element inside the blood that causes the blood clots. It needs prothrombin, you know, it needs prothrombin to form a blood clot. And the blood clot needs vitamin K to form it. And both of these elements reaches their peak efficiency when the child is 8 days old. So that's the perfect time for circumcision. So that's why the child doesn't bleed out as much. That's why, and God knew this from the very beginning. But it takes man a long time to find these things out because we have to observe, watch, we have to come up to his level. And that's what he wants us to do, to come up to his level, to understand what the word is saying. If he's the creator of science, then all the laws, the principles are microcosms of each other, meaning if they work here, they're going to work there. And we can use these laws to understand what he's telling us because he's perfect in every way. So when we understand his laws where he says, I am the Lord, I do not change, that means that his word never changes. If we should come along and we misinterpret what he's saying, because he's faithful and true to his word, he never changes. If we misinterpret what he's saying, or if we change his word to fit what we want it to be instead of what it is, then there's no place else to go but to destruction. Now, one of the reasons why, God said in his word, I cannot find a man to stand in the gap so that I don't have to destroy the city. It's because he made the earth for man, and when he did that, he limited himself. So that when he operates in the earth, he operates through man. This is a spiritual law, and the demons have to operate the same way. They need to work through humans, which is why they deceive us. That's why they deceive humans. And their very modus operandi is to trick humans into coming out of covenant and away from God's plan, away for them, so that they can wreak havoc and get them to destroy themselves. And and so when we understand that the laws are microcosms of each other, and the laws are built into creation, the principles are built into creation. These are automations, which are the design for its creation. So they're going to work whether we believe them or not. So we're giving specific laws that we follow. So when we keep them, we incur the blessings. And when we break them, we receive the curses. So it would be good to understand what his purpose is for us. And if we get away from that and make it something else, then destruction is coming. So, one of the principles that I wanted to mention right now is this is what Yeshua said: a house divided against itself cannot stand. A divided kingdom will fall. Well, when I understand that, and we go back to the days of Washington, there was a covenant that Washington made with God and dedicated the land to God and determined what would happen in the day that the nation never turned away from God. Now, this was a report given by Jonathan Kahn in his book, The Harbingers. What it took me a while to realize is that that didn't just involve Washington. That covenant involved all that were on the land at that time in 1791. And that was the colonists, the descendants of Protestants who fought to preserve the Word of God, to take it from the enslavers that intended to turn this nation into an enslaving nation to expand slavery, and made it into a God nation, setting up the platform to be able to make slavery illegal. That also involved the enslavers and the slaves. We were all on that land at the time. So we're all involved in that covenant. So if evil wants to destroy this land, then they would have to find a way to get these people to turn on each other. They would have to find a way to make them forget their history. And they would end up in what we call the re-education system, where we are brought up and told half-truths and mostly lies. And the thing would be that some would not even care. And once they began receiving the benefits, they're just fighting to receive the benefits and going along with whatever lies. It's like he knows the hearts of people better than people know the hearts of people. And they may even be convinced by them that it's going to be okay. But let me tell you what it says in Jeremiah 33, the last verse. It says that this is the Lord saying, if I have not appointed things in the heaven and the things in the earth, I will not take any of my servant David or his seed as king to rule over people. I'll bet they told him that. But they didn't tell him this part, because it also says, and I will cause their captivity to return, and I will have mercy on them. And see, and that couples along with what it says in Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. That's what I really meant to get to, but somehow I had to introduce it. It says that Revelation 13, verse 10 says, he that leadeth into captivity, he will, not might, he will also go into captivity. Now, just like we had to observe, or things had to be observed to be able to come up with theories to understand God's principles, I had to observe this thing happen, and I saw it happen time and time and time again. I saw it happen in 3 different cities before I came here. Whatever the people were told, whatever they were promised, they cannot override the Creator's law that He set up. They felt leading people into captivity would get them this and get them that, and that they would do this and they would do that. I don't know what they were told. But when Revelation 13 came to pass, that's what ended up happening. These people going into captivity. Now, I'll tell you what I also observed. Because anytime you turn on your Creator and you attack the people, you bring a curse on yourself. So when they raised people up, and when the people believed their lies, they actually became a bullet shield protection for the curse that was meant to come at them. And instead of the curse hitting the people that started it, it hit the people that bought the lies. If they had adhered to God's principles and said no to the lies, they could have stepped out of the way and let these people receive their own curse. Because that's the way God set it up. Otherwise, all you do is you build basically Yes. But how do I say this? This is a principle in the slavery. When the Israelites were in the Egyptian slavery, they were given the bricks. They were given the straws to build the bricks, to build the structures that enslaved them. That's a principle. And that principle seems to apply here because one of the principles of the kingdom of darkness is slavery and lack. That is opposite of the principles of the kingdom of light, which is freedom and abundance. Now the difference is also is that this kingdom, this is what Yeshua says. He says it is the nations that exercise authority, and they that are great rule over them. But it will not be that way with you. He said, whoever wants to be chief, let him be a minister. Ministry simply means service, help. And he said, whoever wants to be great, let him first be a servant. That's basically sales principle. You're serving people by helping them get what they need. The side effect or the result of that is that sometimes you may receive a profit for it, but you don't aim for that. Your job is to help people. He said, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but he came to serve and give his life a ransom for many. So when we ignoring these principles, we're creating repercussions. And if you're breaking laws, then that brings curses, regardless of what we've been told. That means that we have to come up to the truth. If we change the truth and make it our truth, we have created something. Actually, that's something that the devil created in the garden. If you disobey God, basically, you get to be in. Knowing, discerning for yourselves, deciding what good is and what evil is, and making your own decisions, your own choices, your own judgments, based on your decision of what good and evil is. That comes right from the devil. Some call this the creation of religion. But we need to understand that Yeshua didn't come to preach religion. He came to preach a kingdom. And that narrows it down. There's only two kingdoms, kingdom light and kingdom dark. But thousands of religions. Good luck trying to find out which one's the right one. If we understand what he said and we don't change it, then we can come more into what he is telling us. Because words are the window through which we see the world. When you change what you say, it changes what you see. That's why words are very important. And we have to call it what he called it. So that's why he said in Matthew chapter 24, he says, this gospel of the kingdom of God must be preached in all the world as a testimony to the nations. Then the end will come. No, he said, then the end can come. He didn't say the end will come. He said the end can come. That means if people are waiting on the end to come until the gospel is preached, it cannot come. So people would be doing all of these things in vain. If you don't preach this gospel and you're blocking it, thinking something else going to happen, all that's going to bring is captivity. So I hope this message jars somebody. It's JT.